Hi, I'm Craig, and I help veterans go from feeling stuck and unseen after service to living with confidence, connection, and purpose so that they can thrive in civilian life and relationships. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is just a really short video. I wanted to cover the VA disability Senate hearing that occurred on October 29th, 2025. And I thought I'd pop on here really quickly just to kind of give you my thoughts on that Senate hearing, what it meant, and what it means for the veteran. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach. I know that there's a lot of people who have come out and talked about how disappointed they were with with one of the panelists in particular, and some of the things that he said with regard to VA disability benefits, and the Washington Post article obviously that came out that talked about um, that there could be widespread fraud or made accusations of widespread fraud. I understand that there are a lot of people who are talking about that piece of it. That's the congressional piece, that's the laws and regulations piece, that's the judiciary piece with regard to all of that. And I understand how veterans feel about that. People are on either side of that issue. But I want to approach it from the side of the veteran. What does this mean for you, the veteran? What should you do? How should you be viewing this when it comes to your VA disability benefits, particularly if you haven't filed for VA disability benefits before? How do some of these discussions affect you? So that's what we're going to get into today. So let me just give you a brief overview of um, what um, occurred on October 29th at that hearing. I've got this article that I'm going to share with you here in a bit, and it's Chairman Moran, who led a hearing to review matters related to veterans' disability benefits with veterans, the VA Inspector General, and the GAO. So we're going to pull up this article really quickly, just to kind of give you an overview, and then we'll talk about some things that you might want to consider with regard to your benefits and how this affects your benefits. And so, if you'll see here, we've got. Let me pull it up here so you guys can see a little bit larger. So this is from the U.S. Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs. Chairman Moran leads hearing to review veterans' disability benefits system with veterans, the VA Inspector and General, and GAO. This happened on Wednesday, October 29th. U.S. Senator Jerry Moran, chairman of the Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs, today led a committee hearing with the Department of Veterans Affairs, Inspector General, Government Accountability Office, vets and reps from the Paralyzed Veterans of America, Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW of the United States, and DAV about how to improve the VA's disability benefit system. Recent articles published by the Washington Post have raised concerns and frustration within the veteran community, said Senator Moran. I've heard from numerous veterans and groups who are frustrated that these articles have left an impression that veterans are engaging in widespread fraud in the disability claims space. The cases of fraud highlighted in these articles do not reflect the reality of who veterans are, the vast majority of the veteran population, or the values veterans embody. The attention these stories have received provides us an opportunity to have an important discussion about whether the system we have built is serving the needs of veterans today and how we can reform it to better serve those it was designed to help. Continued Senator Moran. We have an obligation to the men and women who have injuries or illnesses connected to their service in uniform to make certain they are provided the tools and resources they need to succeed in life after the military. The Washington Post recently published articles on cases of VA service connection disability compensation being exploited, which prompted responses from veterans and veteran services organizations. And they have a spot where you can watch the whole hearing here if you want. We're not going to go through the whole hearing, but I would advise any veteran or anyone who serves and assists veterans, any VSO, any accredited attorney, I would definitely advise you to watch the full hearing, because I think there's some information in there that will be really beneficial and interesting and fascinating as it regards how veterans benefits are seen by lawmakers, are seen by veteran services organizations, are seen maybe by veterans themselves, because a lot of those people on those panels were veterans themselves. Some of the senators were veterans, and definitely those who were representing the veteran services organizations, and even some of the other organizations were veterans as well. So very educational, very beneficial. So this is, and I'll have this, I'll put this link in the description of the video if you want to go check it out and educate yourself on more of the process. Okay, so now that we have a general overview of what's happening, a general overview of what's going on, what does this mean for you, the veteran? All of these laws and all of these discussions and all of these opinions from different people in different places of power and different levels of influence, what does it mean for you as the veteran? Because I think sometimes we can get lost in all of those things. That's fine. Congress is going to do what they're going to do. VSOs are going to do what they're going to do. The Office of the Inspector General is going to do what they're going to do, and the Government Accountability Office, the GAO, they're going to do what they're going to do. Okay. It has never really mattered to the veteran who has served while you were in the military. When you served, it never really mattered to you who was in office, who wasn't in office, who was the chairman, who wasn't the chairman. The secretary of the VA, he's going to do what he's going to do. He has constituencies. All of these people have constituencies. All of them, I believe, deep down in their heart, whether you agree with them or not, are out there to try to help the veteran. So, what does that mean for you? Let's bring it back home. You know, on this channel, what we do is we bring it all the way back to what the veteran's responsibility is with regard to not just your VA claims, but also with regard to how you're going to transition and live your life as a civilian in this world, in this country. So, what are some things? What's a strategy that we can come up with? And you know how we do it here at Royal Rock Wellness. We come up with strategies and tools and effective resources so that we can, and no matter what's going on, no matter what they decide, no matter what laws are passed, we can live royally and live well. So, with that in mind, I thought about this and I've come up with three specific steps, or let's call them three specific, I don't want to say phases or anything like that, but there's just three things for you to think about, right? When you approach anything regarding your VA claims, or even just when you approach transition or life, trying to find a job, um, trying to get a promotion, trying to serve and help your family, be a good friend, doesn't matter. Get help for what you need. There are three specific um, things you want to keep in mind, three items, three aspects, 3 points. If you're a preacher, you like P's and points. Three things you want to keep in mind. The first thing that you want to consider is preparation. The second thing you want to consider is positioning. And then the third thing you want to consider is perseverance. I'm going to go into what all three of those things mean in just a moment, but let me bring it back home for you. We want to think about 3 P's when it comes to an effective strategy to make us resilient and impermeable, regardless of what happens with the Veterans Benefits Administration. We want to be prepared. We want to be positioned, and we want to persevere. So I'm going to break down what all three of those things mean right now. Let's talk about preparation. It doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't matter what administration is in. As I stated earlier in this video, it never really mattered to you while you were in the military. We use these words like honor, courage, commitment, service, care, integrity, loyalty, esprit de corps. We use all of those words. We were taught all of those words because we understood that we have a mission, right? We are preparing for a mission. We're preparing for a personal mission. We have a family mission, and then we also have the mission of our unit, and ultimately the mission of our service, right? whether we are on deployment, whether we are in garrison, on shore duty, or at sea, air, or land, we understand that we are committed. We raised our right hand, um, and we swore to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that we would bear true faith and allegiance to the same. So we have to prepare for that. So when it comes to doing your VA claim, right, don't listen, don't fall for it. Don't fall for all of the smoke and mirrors that you see. One of the things that these things are designed to do is to test the mettle of veterans to see, how much do you want to press forward and how much do you want to lean into what it means to actually get your benefit. And the reason why I say make sure you prepare yourself is you want to prepare yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, and spiritually. Prepare yourself because from the time you start seeking benefits, if you have a compensable condition, if you actually have had an event, injury, or illness that meets the criteria and the qualifications for VA disability, prepare yourself. Watch the videos that you've seen us do here at Royal Rock Wellness or the tons of other videos online, or reach out to a VSO or an accredited attorney. Reach out to someone who can help you get prepared to submit your claim in a current, accurate, and complete way. I think we get so bogged down on, oh man, this congressman said this, or that congressman said that, or oh my gosh, they're going to take away our benefits. We get so bogged down on that and we forget to prepare for what we already know. You already have the 38 CFR. You already have the M21-1. You already have the VA.gov resources. What does anything that happened in Congress the other day have to do with you preparing to do your VA claim in a current, accurate, and complete way? Absolutely nothing. You're a veteran. You know what to do to prepare for a mission, a deployment, a family gathering, a unit picnic. It doesn't matter what it is. You know how to prepare for it. Listen, in the Navy, we used to say, "Hay's gray and underway." It's time to get underway. It's time to do what we need to do. So when you think about your VA claim, get your mind prepared and get your mind off of social media, get it off of all of these narratives and stories that you're hearing. Because at the end of the day, you have to lock in to what it is that you need, what goals you have in your life, and what you are striving for. And it has nothing to do with what anybody else is doing on the hill. And I say that without regard or respect to either side. It doesn't matter whether you lean left or lean right or go straight down the middle. It really doesn't matter. What matters is what are you willing to do and how are you willing to educate yourself and do the proper research that it takes in order to prepare to submit your VA claim or to be a better father, a better husband, a better wife, a better friend, a better mom. What are you doing to prepare yourself? And that's what you need to focus on right now. So the first thing you need to do is you need to prepare. Get rid of all the other noise and prepare. Next, I want to talk about positioning yourself. Now, listen, we all know that submitting a VA claim or doing something that is required of your MOS or your rating specialty, we all know that timing is everything when it comes to that. You remember while you were in the military, sometimes you'd wait for certain schools to open up certain trainings. Sometimes you'd wait for certain things to happen with regard to promotion. Maybe there was a specific time that you needed to take the test. Maybe you needed to get a certain score on your physical fitness test or your physical fitness assessment. Or maybe you needed to shoot a certain score on your rifle exam. In the Marine Corps, they've got the CFT now, the combat fitness test. Maybe you needed to do something within your MOS or within your specialty, and the timing of it was everything. But when it came time to do that, you had already prepared yourself, as we talked about before, for when that time came, you were in the right position to to show or to receive or to serve or to go or to do or to shoot, move, or communicate. As you got your Army Bubba say, you were ready to do what you needed to do in that moment. Okay. Listen, always be where you are supposed to be. And if you're always where you're supposed to be, you will always be in the right place at the right time. When it comes to your VA claim, for example, we always talk about keeping a copy of everything, right? And exhibiting that level of patience and putting yourself in a position for so that when whatever happens, when whatever happens, you're right there. You are observant, you're aware, you're engaged, you're integrated into the whole process of whatever it is that you're doing. But if you're out of position, if you're somewhere complaining about what's going on in the world or in the culture or in the military at large or with veterans, or you just kind of have this attitude where you're discontent, you're not going to be in the right position. I want you, and I know the government's shut down. I understand that. I understand the government's shut down, and I know everybody's getting all excited about, are our claims going to be processed? Listen, you can still submit your claim. Your claim is going to be processed. I'm telling you. Listen, trust me on this one. Your claim is going to be processed, and it's going to be processed at the time it's supposed to be processed. You need to be in the position to where if the VA comes back and says, we need this or we need that, you got to be ready to give it to them. But you won't be ready if you're not in the right position. And I'm talking about the position of your heart, the position of your mind, the position of your body, the position of your emotions, and the position of your social sphere as far as what you need to do to be successful. We're talking about more than VA claims here. Be in position, be in the right place at the right time. Listen, I remember the best advice I got before I got in the military, when I joined the Marine Corps the first time. The best advice I got, this real old head told me, he said, listen, he said, you can spend 20 years in the military, 20 plus years, you can have a successful career. He said, all you need to remember is three things: be where you're supposed to be, do what you're supposed to be doing, and do what you're told. That's it. Be in the right position, and you would be shocked and amazed if you're in the place that you're supposed to be, the favor and the good things that will start happening, regardless of the process. Yes, I know there are a lot of things that are broken with the VA claims process, VA disability process, with government work. There's a lot of things that are broken. I get it. There's no one easy fix. This is complicated and nuanced and complex. But as far as you are concerned, be in position, veteran. Be in position, warrior. Be there. Be where you're supposed to be. And watch how things start to turn in your favor just because you showed up and you stood up and you sat up and you were in position. And the last thing I want to talk about is perseverance. And when I think about perseverance, the type of words that I have in mind are toughness, consistency, focus, endurance, long suffering, patience, stick to itiveness. Listen, it may take you a while. I was listening to the committee, the hearing the other day, um, and I heard that they had been looking at a case where a veteran had been waiting for years before they got their claim. Now, chances are that veteran's probably going to get what they need because there's a high level of attention on that claim. But I want you to dig in because I've read, I'm part of some Facebook groups online and things of that nature, and I've seen stories, and I've even experienced with some of my clients where people have waited for long periods of time. Now, listen, you have a choice. You have a choice. You could stop and just be like, I don't want to deal with this. You could be upset at the process as you're moving through the process, or you could patiently persevere and make sure you stick to providing every piece of documentation that you need. And this doesn't mean just be still while you wait. What this means is constantly be persistent and consistent in asking the questions that you need answers to, in writing people that you need to write to, in providing the documentation that needs to be provided, and gaining the documentation, whether that be medical documentation or otherwise, that needs to be provided. And you know what? This is just not VA claims or VA disability. This is applicable for VA claims and VA disability if you have a chronic injury that you really need to be compensated for, and that has been either underrated or ignored, and you really need to get that claim reviewed. Listen, be persevere in that, but then also persevere in life. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to get looked over. You're going to get ignored. You're going to get passed over. What happened? What did you do when you got passed over for promotion in the military? Did you cry about it? Did you blame other people for it? Or did you dig your heels in, put your nose to the grindstone, put your shoulder to the wheel, suck it up and keep going? It's just a question. It's just a question. The things that you learned while you were in the military with regard to perseverance and with regard to endurance and a dog fight are the same things that you need in life. Same thing you need when it comes to your VA claim, especially if you know you're telling the truth, especially if you know you have integrity and honesty with regard to what happened to you while you were in service, whether it was mentally, physically, emotionally, socially. Persevere, work through it, keep going. And I think what you'll find as you persevere is, even if you don't get that particular goal, let's say, for example, your goal is to get some kind of VA claim. Even if you don't get that particular goal, persevere, and you will learn so many other things about yourself that you would never have gained had you not gone through this experience. So those are the 3 Ps. I'm glad you guys had an opportunity to join me on this video today. Thanks for listening to my little rant here, which really isn't a rant on anybody in particular. It's a call to you as the veteran. Come on, let's go. There are so many different things and so many different types of benefits and so many different experiences in life that we can do other than just VA compensation. That's one small part of it. We're going to get you there. We're going to show you how to do these things, but I want you to see what you're learning in perseverance as you pursue VA benefits that can serve you in other areas of your life. And we're going to get there together. I hope you join this journey with me. Always remember to live royally and live well, and I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to join me on November 11th for Veterans Day live stream, and every day in the month of November, I'm going to be covering a specific VA claims. It's my 30 claims in 30 days. All right, you guys, let's get to work. Live royally and live well.